Karlsson has been interested in explosives since he was young. He has tried almost everything that can be detonated, including the outdoor toilet. Karlsson went to the mountain to study blasting. However, Kenny had to pee urgently and came to the blasting site. Due to being an orphan, Karlsson was eventually sent to a mental hospital where he grew up. One day, the hospital director Brian checked Karlsson's body and determined that he had African American heritage. To prevent Karlsson's descendants from continuing to propagate African American heritage, Brian performed a sterilization surgery on him. Many years later, Karlsson was released from the mental hospital. After his release, Karlsson entered a large cannon foundry and met Esteban from Spain. During break times, Esteban began to brainwash people, persuading Karlsson to join him in Spain to participate in the struggle against the nationalist government led by Francisco Franco. Karlsson and several colleagues followed Esteban's persuasion and returned to Spain to join the uprising against the dictatorship. They fought guerrilla warfare while searching for the anti-fascist rebels. When they saw a military force ahead, Esteban thought it was the rebel army and stood up to join them. However, the other side was the dictatorship's army, and Esteban was killed on the spot. Karlsson continued to fight guerrilla warfare with his colleagues in various parts of Spain, destroying bridges, stone bridges, and steel bridges. When they ran out of bombs, they left Spain. Karlsson then found a job as a construction worker. In this work environment, the workers did not tie safety ropes. Meanwhile, the world was in turmoil and the Second World War entered its mid to late stage. Karlsson heard from his co-workers that the US military was planning to assemble the world's largest bomb, and he decided to apply for a job. Although he was only a waiter, he performed his duties diligently. During the development of the super bomb, experts encountered many difficulties and the experiments were not successful. One day, Oppenheimer was having a heated discussion with his colleagues. After hearing their discussion, Karlsson offered his own suggestion and it was approved by Oppenheimer. They started to redesign the bomb structure and connected the two parts using explosives. After many trials and improvements, they finally successfully detonated the first atomic bomb at the Alamogordo test base in New Mexico. Soon after, Japan was attacked by 2 atomic bombs, and World War II came to an end. To express their gratitude to Karlsson, the Vice President of the United States invited him for a drink and gave him his most beloved lighter as a gift. After returning to his homeland, Karlsson's talent caught the attention of Oleg. Oleg approached Karlsson and invited him for drinks. After getting drunk, Oleg used the opportunity to take him back to Moscow on a submarine. After waking up, Karlsson met Stalin, who also had an interest in developing the atomic bomb. Stalin ordered his men to capture Einstein and bring him to the Soviet Union, but instead, they mistakenly captured his brother, Herbert. Later, Stalin learned that Karlsson was also working on the atomic bomb and asked for his help in developing it for the Soviet Union. Karlsson accepted and Stalin held a welcoming party for him. However, after getting drunk, Karlsson accidentally said something that offended Stalin, and was then sent to Siberia to work as a laborer. In prison, Karlsson found Herbert and revealed the escape plan to him. The first step of the plan was to escape to the nearby warehouse. However, it took Karlsson 3 years to make Herbert understand this step, but he was not successful.
Why I go to the laundry for the feeding, the food is in canteen.
Forget it.
Eventually, Karlsson gave up on the escape plan. One night, Herbert woke him up. It turned out that Herbert had found a hand grenade but accidentally pulled the pin. Karlsson told Herbert not to let go and pushed him outside to throw away the grenade. The guards saw them and raised their guns. Karlsson told them that the grenade was there and they urged them to throw it away quickly. Karlsson threw the grenade onto a transportation truck carrying ammunition. The grenade exploded, triggering a chain reaction that caused the rockets to explode, and the entire naval base was engulfed in flames. Karlsson and Herbert took advantage of the chaos and escaped. In the end, Karlsson returned to his hometown and began a peaceful life. Karlsson, who is nearly 100 years old, can only live with one of his cats because he has been sterilized. On this day, a fox killed his cat. Karlsson wants to avenge the cat. He tied bombs to some hams. Sure enough, the fox came again. With a loud bang, Karlsson avenged his cat. He no longer waited for death alone, but went to the train station. Using all his money, Karlsson bought a train ticket. While waiting, Pim handed him a box and asked him to keep it safe. Karlsson arrived at an abandoned train station with the box. Ricky opened the door and asked Karlsson if he had eaten, inviting him to dine together. Ricky prepared delicious food and wine that satisfied Karlsson. However, When Karlsson went to the bathroom, Pim arrived and beat up Ricky, forcing him to hand over the box. Karlsson heard the movement and picked up a gavel. Ricky and Karlsson dragged Pim into the freezer room. Ricky asked what was in the box that made Pim so nervous. When they opened it, they found it filled with cash. Both of them were thrilled but also nervous. They remembered that Pim was still locked in the freezer, but when they opened the door, they found that Pim had already frozen to death. The two men dragged the suitcase and prepared to escape. They found Jack, who was driving on the side of the road, and invited him to join them. The three of them split the money equally. Several people came to the countryside to live temporarily, and the owner Lisa raised an elephant. Karlsson never expected to ride an elephant in his life. This huge sum of money is not Pim's, but Ford's. Ford is in a luxury hotel in Bali and asks Betten to get back the huge sum of money. Before long, Betten tracked down several people and snatched back a large sum of money. Suddenly, Lisa appeared holding a shotgun. Betten backed away with the box, stepped on elephant shit and slipped. The elephant was frightened and trampled to death Betten. In the end, Lisa joined them, and everyone split the huge sum equally. Several people decided to go to Bali to enjoy life. They came to Bali and found this place to be really nice. Several people were driving, but unexpectedly the car next to them belonged to Ford. Ford saw the box in their car and asked the driver if it was my box. The driver also went to see the box. Ford died, and the huge sum of money became theirs completely. At the end of the story, Karlsson stayed in the beautiful Bali.